Hey, this is Rick from Hiking Emergency Beacon, and I want to talk to you today about something that might make your life a little bit easier when you're messaging with a Garmin inReach Mini, Mini 2, and many other Garmin satellite messengers, and actually beyond that, to Zoleo, to ACR Bivy Stick, somewhere global hotspot. When you can connect your phone to your satellite messenger, there's something that can make messaging a lot easier, and it's called Dictation. And it's something I haven't tried before, and I think a lot of people who are out in the mountains probably won't care about it and don't use it, and some people don't even take their phones with them. But in case you do, and you're more like me, and you're out for day hikes, or you might be hunting and fishing, and you want to send a message easier than typing it in on your phone, then dictation is something you may want to consider. There's several ways to do dictation. One way, and the simplest way, is when you go into your app. And in this case, I'm using not my Garmin, I'm not using my GPS map 66i today. I'm using my Garmin inReach Mini 2 and the Messenger app. So when you go into the Messenger app and you click on create a message, then what happens is the simplest thing you can do, down on the bottom right is a microphone icon. If you tap on that, and I'm going to do it right now just to show you. If I tap on this, and I'm going to stop talking for a second as I do the message, and we'll just walk through some of the different ways to do this. So I'm going to click on the microphone icon now, and I'll have screenshots of all this. New test message in a review for Garmin inReach Mini 2, period. Tap send. Now I turned off the microphone here because when you do this way, things work a little different than if you say have voice control on. So when I said period and tap send under voice control would actually send the message without me having to send it. But when you're doing probably the most simple thing here is just you hitting the microphone, then you have to hit the microphone to turn it on when you want to talk, turn it off when you want to stop talking, and you have to physically push the send button. No big deal. This is the simplest way to do things, and probably the way I think a lot of people want to do it, because voice control you got to work on, you got to practice. And if you're in a noisy area, maybe the wind's real loud or you have other people around, you may not want to do voice control. But even this here, if you say turn on the microphone and there's a lot of people talking around you, again, you're going to have some issues. In this particular case, I'm going to have to back arrow here, get rid of tap send, and then there's another message here that comes up, says type and speak. You can edit text with the keyboard while you dictate. I've taken a screen capture of that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the send. I physically hit the send button. Again, messages will be up on the screen. That's the simplest way to do this. If you want to create messages quicker than typing, then it's much easier to do it this way. I would just say make sure you speak clearly. And I'm one of the world's worst at speaking clearly. I tend to keep my mouth shut more, and I tend to mumble some, and I have to consider who I'm talking to and speak clearly. And that's just my one caution there. Now, the other way to do this is if you want to do voice control. And I've got this set up to do voice control or to turn it off and just hit the microphone on the screen. But when you have voice control on, and there's some things you have to do to set up voice control. And let me just walk you through that real quick. If you go to settings, and then under settings, go down to accessibility. Oh, see, I didn't even talk right there. Go to accessibility. I didn't sound good either. I can't even talk. That didn't sound good. Then when you're in accessibility, then you go down to voice control and you hit voice control, and mine is already on. And so if it's off, then you hit voice control, and I think it takes you through a few steps to finish setting up that voice control. When that's done, then there's a little icon on the top of the screen, top left, right by the time, and it's grayed out right now. If I say wake up, it just now woke up. If I say go to sleep, it didn't go to sleep because I'm using it in a sentence, but I'm going to pause here and say it. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. There. It went to the gray setting again. So wake up and go to sleep are the two things you want to do. If you don't want it to be hearing everything you're saying when maybe you're working or you're driving and you're just talking with family, you don't want it listening to you all the time, or you don't want it to maybe open an app or do something that you're not wanting it to do. In this case, once you have voice control activated, then you can even use voice control to open up the Messenger app. Now, I'm not the world's best at doing all this, okay? So if you've got any questions, if you've got any suggestions or comments, please leave them below, because this is a learning process for me and maybe you, but you may already know all this. And I know some of you already do, because one of my subscribers, and I don't remember their names, and I'm sorry about that, but I will put it up on the screen here. They actually brought this up and said, hey, you ought to use Dictation. And well, I never thought about that. And they're very good at using silent messengers, and I think they use the ACR Bivy stick, and they really like it a lot. So once you have voice control set up, I'm just going to walk through and do what I'm learning to do right now. So here it goes, okay? Wake up. Open Messenger app. Open Messenger. Now in this case here, I'm already in the message. So I'm going to back up to where there's messages from me to myself and my son and daughter group message. But what I've been trying to do was create a message by just voice control here. And I've been playing with it, but it hasn't worked. So, you know, right now I could say new message. Tap new message. Okay, what happened here when I said the new message? It actually came up with a little icon that says tap new message. Now I'm talking right here and it's creating this message, and I don't want it to do that. So I'm going to go back to being quiet. Tap plus. That doesn't work. Go to sleep. So what's going on right now, it's listening to me and it's doing things, and I haven't perfected this. I have a lot to learn. That's why I say please leave messages below and help me out, and then I'll learn and I'll do better the next time. But I'm not afraid to do a video right now to show you what can help you, and we'll learn together. So in this case, what I would have to do is, because I haven't figured this part out, I would have to physically tap on my name. Now once I've done that, I think I can say new message. So I'm going to wake my phone back up and say it. Wake up. New message. Go to sleep. Again, I'm struggling with this a little bit. It's on my name. So now it's, because I'm having trouble, I'm going to click on the start new message. Now once I've actually clicked on that, now I can do the text to speech. Again, I'm still learning. Now in this case, what happened before, when I was just using the microphone button at the bottom without voice control, I had to hit, after I wrote my message, I had to hit the send button. In this case, I don't have to. I can say period tap send. I'm going to create a new message here, and then I'll be able to say tap send, and it will send it for me. Wake up. New message using my tap send that I'm trying to teach people about while I'm learning. Period. Tap send. Go to sleep. All right, there you go. I didn't capture every image on the screen, but I did some of it, and I'll do my best to show on the screen here to all of you what's happening here. But again, there's two ways to do this. I am so in the early stages of using Dictation, and I'm going to be using it on a lot of things. I'm going to start using it when I write articles, because you can speak a lot faster than you type. I don't know how well that's going to work, but that's a side note, something I'm also working on. But this is a nice way, if you can practice and get good at it, you can, even though you do still have to hit some buttons unless you know a different way to do it, you can type out a message, you can speak out a message and then still hit send, or you still may have to do some things on the screen, but you don't have to type the message out. Now think about this. This could be really good if you're injured. And maybe, I don't want to bring up bad things, but maybe you've broken your arm and you can maybe use it to some degree. And typing a message is very painful. But if you can maybe hit the button and get them to the message and click the message and then speak the message and say tap send, or at least again use your hand enough or something to send the message, it'd be a lot easier to speak it than to type it out, depending on your injury. So I just wanted to bring all this up to you. It's new to me. And some of you, in fact, most of you probably already know way more about it than I do. And some people aren't going to want to use this. But some of you might think about it. And I want to practice with it, because if there's a situation that I'm in and it'd be beneficial for me to be able to use it, I want to be proficient at it. Again, this is like everything else I tell you. When you get a new satellite messenger, when you're testing out messages, when you're wanting to know if the SOS works. Somebody just messaged me today and said, how reliable is the Garmin SOS? Well, I don't know that, but what I did respond to them about, I said, I'm going to set up some tests with IERCC or something like that. It'll be on the screen. It's the search and rescue or the emergency center that sends out the notices to the rescue teams. And that's who communicates with you if there's an emergency. So I'm going to do some tests on that to see how well they pick up, and I'm going to make sure I'm outside of cell service. So if you're using dictation, or you're messaging, or you're checking weather, or you're out with a group or somebody else, and you want to lay down waypoints or create routes, whatever it is, make sure you test before you go out. And you don't always have to go a long ways away to test. Just test, because I guarantee you, unless you're just a brilliant person, you're going to find something that you didn't do correctly, or you need to correct, or you need to call Garmin, or you need to ask me a question. Just test before you go out. But try the dictation, because it may be great for you. And why not? You might learn something, and you might be able to teach me something. Thanks for joining me here on Hiking Emergency Beacon, and I'll see you in the next video.